starting off this chilly and cold day in the life here in Alaska with a very hearty and hot breakfast. And as you will see in this video, there will be a lot of food that I'm making again. Here, I am doing the sourdough breakfast pizza that you can find on Farmhouse on Boone, and I will link this recipe below. It is such an easy recipe because it only takes sourdough starter that you put on a very hot pizza pan and let it bake a little bit. And then you add some tomato slices and let that bake for a little bit, and then you add the rest of the toppings like lots of cheese and bacon bits and eggs and some green onions and some salt and pepper, and it just makes such a good breakfast. Right after breakfast, I started my make in a day sourdough bread. So this bread I can start in the morning and have it done by evening. But I should have started a little earlier than I did because it did not rise quite like I thought it should. And it was also because I added some spelt flour to it instead of just all organic white. But that's okay. You'll see at the end how it turned out. But it is the most simplest recipe ever, and this is my go-to recipe. If I'm not doing the sandwich bread, I'm doing this, and this is all it is just warm water, sourdough starter, and you mix that gently together, and then you add your flour and add about 2 to 3 cups of flour, and then after that is mixed in, you will add your salt, and that is all there is to it. It's literally water, flour, sourdough starter, and salt. And then later I will show you how I do stretches and folds. After I put in the last half cup of flour, I will just use my hands and just get it mixed. And this bread doesn't have to be mixed like in a mixer. It doesn't even have to be really mixed that much. You just want to make so that the flour is all, mixed in good enough. And then you just keep it in that bowl and cover it with a wet towel. And then you want to put it in a really nice warm spot so that it will activate faster, because this is just sourdough in a day bread. So you want to help it activate. And then after you've let it set for 15 minutes, you take the dough and you wet your fingers so that you can handle it better. And then you just stretch it out like I'm doing right there. You just stretch one side out, and then you just gently fold it over, and then go on over to the next side and stretch again. This is called a stretch and fold technique, and you do 4 sides of this, and then you cover it again, set it in a warm place for another 15 minutes, and you go around the clock like that for an hour, at least 4 times. Do it at least 4 times, and by the time the 4th time comes around, you can see how much more the loaf has elastic, like it has more elasticity. It creates this great chewy texture to the bread, and it creates some of those pretty air bubbles. So you really want to do that if possible. This is my last stretch and fold, and you can see how much more elastic this bread is now. And now I'm just shaping it into a nice round ball, and I will put it back in the bowl and cover it, and again set it in a warm place for up to 3 to 4 hours. Hey guys, welcome to Chloe Avalon, and as you can see, they're having some lunch right now. I just quickly heated up I made a chicken and rice stew for them for lunch. I could usually skip lunch pretty easily for me, but for the children, they are always hungry. So anyways, I wanted to show you this bread. It's just risen a little bit, not very much, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it in my banneton basket. Now, if you don't have a basket like this, that's totally fine. Just find another bowl, like I'm gonna show you here. I have often just put them in a glass bowl like this with, a cloth like that. But I have a banneton basket, so I'm just gonna put it in here, but I'm still gonna put a cloth over it. And I'll show you how I do it. I think one reason this didn't rise quite as well is I put in some spelt flour, and I often do that. It just depends, but if you want a really nice perfect loaf the first time, then just use all white flour. But I like to add spelt. It has been sitting in a nice warm spot for the past 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours. You just gotta go by what time you have, like how much time you have until dinner time, and gauge by that. If you do a loaf in one day. Now you could do this the night before, like mix it all together the night before, do the stretch and fold things, and then just let it sit overnight. You could totally do that, and then put it into this basket and let it set for another few hours until you want to put it in the oven. But if you do it during the day, you have to hurry up the process a little bit. And one way to do that is to keep it in a very warm place, like in your Pilot Light oven, if you have a Pilot Light, or then set your oven to warm and then just turn it off again. You don't want to forget that. Or then, like I do, I set it by my wood stove and just check it every once in a while. So let's get started. I will show you how I get this ready to proof for the last time. So you just want a little bit of flour, not a lot, to dump your dough on. And then you just want to carefully take your dough out. And then what I do is I stretch out the dough. I stretch it out. The first time I'll just stretch it all the way out. Just like so, and then I'll go and fold it over, fold it over, fold it over like this, fold it over like this, and then you just kind of form it into this nice round ball. I love working with dough, and if you hear lots of noise in the background, it's because we have some guys here doing a little bit of drywall repair, so it can be loud sometimes. So you just keep going like that. And then I just let it sit while I get this basket ready. So I just fold like this, and have this to put over it. Then you don't have to have that, but I like to have that. And then what I do is sprinkle it very liberally with flour. That way it won't stick to this cloth, because I've had that happen already and you can almost not get it off. So you just spread a rich amount of flour all over. And then I take this and turn it upside down, and it looks pretty good, so I'm just going to leave it. Sometimes I pinch the edges, but it looks okay. And you put the good side, you put down like that, because you will flip it over again when you bake it. So then I just again sprinkle some flour on the edges, make sure that it will not stick. And you can hear the children playing a game in the background, if you hear all that noise. Okay, now that's perfect. Now I'll just cover it with this, and then I'll also cover it with plastic wrap and put it in a nice warm place for up to like 3 to 4 hours, depending on when you want to eat and depending on how fast this rises. Now sometimes if I do an all white loaf, it rises a lot faster, and so you will have to put it in the oven quicker. Okay, I'm down here in my basement in my storage can room. So this is where I keep all my canned goods, all my extra dry goods, and storage. So it is a full space. And by the way, normally at this time of the year, I would be giving you Thanksgiving meal prep videos, or I would give you like a Christmas home tour, but I am not in that stage of my life right now. We are getting ready to go back to Montana in December, so it's coming up real fast, and I didn't do any packing yet because we are kind of planning on packing up the whole house because we're selling our home. So I'm just gonna do some packing, start wherever I know I can. Like here in my can room, I'm gonna start packing up some of my canned goods. And what I'm gonna do with those, I'm gonna take those over to my sister Emily's house. They just live a little bit down the way here. And I'm gonna store it in their root cellar. So I'm gonna pack up some of that, pack up anything that I know I can don't need anymore right now, like we can do without and are not taking back with us to Montana. So I have a lot to think about. I have to think about, you know, what I want to take. We can't take a lot, but yeah, what I want to take and what I want to leave here and what I want to get rid of. That's what you have to do when you move, which is really good because you go through so much stuff. And when you do pack, make sure you label your boxes well, because it's not fun going back into your boxes and not knowing what's in it if you have it in storage. So I make sure to label them well. I always have a bag of trash here ready for me. I have a bag where I put stuff that I want to give away or give to the thrift store. So those are my suggestions. So I want to get started, but I did want to show you because I just got them in the mail the other day. Lemongrass always sends me beach towels every time you are halfway to your incentive trip that you're trying to win. So the first year that I won the incentive trip, I got these towels and I still have them. They always send 2. And then last year they send these blue ones, and they always have a logo on it with the big L, Lemongrass Spa Products. And now these just came in because I hit the halfway mark, which I'm so excited. We're gonna go on the incentive trip in June. I believe it's in June, and it's gonna be in Costa Rica. So, And now these, I think these are probably my favorite. So I just sent these, but I have to pack them away for now. Okay, girls, shall we get started?
Yes.
Chloe's way up there.
Hi, I'm ready to get to work.
So normally I would, like every jar, I would wrap with paper, but I'm not going to worry about it because we're just taking it over to my sister's house. So I think they'll be fine because I don't have enough paper anyways. By the way, we're doing this while our bread is rising, and I hope it'll turn out good for you guys this time. I should have maybe just made a total white loaf because those are usually foolproof. Those usually turn out well all the time.
What's this? Sticking.
All right, we made a dent, just a dent, but at least we did that. We boxed up most of our canned goods, and I left out a few over here that we can still use the next couple weeks. But yes, got most of the canned goods done. We just have a lot of other storage that we still need to package up and take care of. But hey, every little bit counts. So I just came up from packing canned goods downstairs, and it's like 4 o'clock, and it just looks so beautiful out here. Just a beautiful red sky, and it's cold, very cold. I've had the Dutch oven in the baker for quite a while now at 500 degrees. You want it really super hot. And this is ready to go in the oven. You can see how it rose just a little bit. That is perfect. I love that. So hopefully it'll turn out okay. And what I'll do is turn this bread over carefully on some wax paper, and then I'll score it and put it in the Dutch oven. So it's sticking just a little bit, but it's coming off okay. So that's good. Some extra flour on here. Just gonna scrape it off a little bit. And then I'll just make one nice score right over here. So what I did with the bread, I turned it down to 480 degrees for the first 20 minutes, and you cover the bread for the first 20 minutes, and I'm timing it, and then I take the lid off, and then I put it down to like 475, sometimes even lower, just so that it doesn't get too dark on top, but let's say 475 degrees, and then I time it again for like 19 to 20 minutes. And while that is in the oven, I'm going to show you all a very easy casserole dish that I sometimes do. It's called pizza rice casserole. So let's get started with that. And I actually have this recipe all on my Instagram. Those of you who want to join me on Instagram, it's also called Chloe Avalon, Chloe.Avalon, I believe. You can join me there, and I'm on maybe a couple times a week, like 3 to 4 times a week, where I post things in my stories. Sometimes I do a reel of some kind, but not very often. So I'll draw you up a little closer here, and I'll show you how I make this. I cooked up some brown rice, but you can do white rice. That's totally fine. And so you mix this rice, and then I have a whole pack of softened cream cheese here that I'm going to mix in. And then I also have some basil pesto. Now, if you don't have basil pesto, what you can do is add just some garlic, crushed garlic, and some basil, or you can do a dry seasoning like garlic powder and dried basil. But it just gives it an amazing flavor. I love to put a little bit of pesto in. It just really gives it a good seasoning. So this is the base of the pizza casserole. And it also takes sour cream. So it takes cream cheese and sour cream. So it really, really is good. And this is a super simple dish and a fast dish that you could make. You could even make your rice ahead of time if you want, like the day before. But I just cooked up some rice, and I also fried up some burger. Now here's a cup of sour cream. Super duper good. Then I will also add some pepper and a little bit of salt. And we'll get this all mixed up and put it in this pan here. I love the smell of it because it has a faint smell of pesto. paper again. And I will have the recipe for this down below. So you just spread it all in here. And then next, I will add the meat. I will put the meat on top of this, and then we'll put on pizza sauce and bake it, and then later we'll put on some cheese. It'll be amazing. Okay, now I'm gonna just put it in the oven like this once the bread is done, and then later, when it's almost done, I will spread on some cheese. Okay, the oven is beeping, so it means it was 20 minutes. So let's go check out this bread. Okay, here we go. Pull this out just a little and pick this up. Ooh. It's looking pretty good. Doesn't rise quite as much as just a white loaf would, but it still looks good. So now I put it back in and I cancel it out and I lower it to 475 start, which it's lower already because I had it open. Then I time it for another 20 minutes and I just check it. Okay, it's all done, and it definitely didn't rise quite as much, but it's okay. If I would have gone all white, it would have really risen nicely. So I would suggest you try that first if you haven't done this before. So this is how it looks, and it definitely isn't my best loaf, but it'll do. I gotta show you this.
Oh, doesn't this look tasty? Just tasty.
Just look at that. Just look at that. That looks awful.
Awfully good. I know she meant to say that. Just know it.
They caught this in the ocean in Prince William Sound, this octopus, this summer. And we just kept it in the freezer, and now he's trying to fix it up. He's gonna fry it.
Oh, I'm not trying. I'm doing it. I'm all in. This is good. She says she doesn't want to have anything to do with it, which basically means we get to have more octopus to ourselves.
Yeah.
Can't believe my good fortune.
I told him if he wants it, he's gonna have to fix it. I'm not going to. So here he is, and I'll try it at least. Actually looking kind of good. Okay, you all, this is the next day, the next evening, and I just wanted to show you how a white loaf looks. And this is organic white that I get in Costco, or then I also get Wheat Montana natural white. But this is how it looks. It's really nicely risen. It's just a perfect white sourdough loaf. It's so hot right now. I think I'm gonna take it off like that and you can see it better. The children are putting the dishes away, so it's so loud. But yeah, we're having a Mennonite family here that we've never met, and they just asked us over Instagram to if Avalon could babysit their children for a couple days while they do classes in Anchorage. They live in Sourdough, which is about 5 hours away. So anyways, this is how a beautiful white loaf looks. It is bedtime now, and I'm doing a little bit of self-care. And I've showed you this, I think maybe in my last video, that I use this bakuchiol serum and cloud cream. So This is such a soft oil, and bakuchiol is a natural alternative to retinol. So it's a natural, kind of a natural retinol maybe. So it's a lot better for you than retinol is, because retinol is not good for your skin actually. But what I really want to show you tonight is what I do. I do a little bit of face exercises. I've been doing it for the last few weeks, probably about a month now, and I just enjoy it. Like I do it mornings and evenings. But you have to have your face, you have to have a little bit of oil on your face. So this is the bakuchiol oil, and I even put it in my neck because I do it on my neck area too. So not quite a dropper, and I just put it all over my face. It feels very silky, this bakuchiol oil. Now in the mornings, I do this mornings and evenings, but in the mornings I use the anti-aging oil serum, and this is one thing I am not without, especially in the winter time. It just keeps my face very hydrated. So anyways, what I want to show you is first I start here and I go down like 10 times and just rub down. It like helps drain, I think, drain your lymph nodes, and it just helps drain. Even if you like wake up and you feel puffy, your face feels puffy, this is really good to help drain it. So now I don't know how many times I did that, but that's okay. And then next you take your two fingers like this and just kind of turn them like that. Then you go by your chin and you pull back, you pull up. Sometimes I straighten out my fingers kind of like that. And you just kind of work on your jawline. And I always do 10 or 12 times, but I don't want to take as long when I'm showing you. Then next what you do is you put your fingers like this. I actually kind of make a fist, use these fingers, and I usually actually kind of go over my mouth. Then I go right underneath my jawline. And you do it 10 times like that. And it feels really good if you've got oil on your skin, oil on your face. It just helps with keeping your skin tighter and firmer and more youthful. I have to laugh how I look. Okay, now next what you do is go up here, put your fingers again like that, and just go up over your cheekbones, underneath and over, and pull upwards, like just slide upwards. It's not a rough movement, just kind of soft. You just pull upwards. Every time I do this, especially in the morning, I feel like my face feels more alive and awake. And I can imagine some of you are laughing at me. But my mom always took care of her skin. Even though we grew up Amish, my mom really took care of her skin, and I guess it rubbed off on me. Now the last thing I do is I use my fingers like this and I go upwards and pull over, upwards and pull over. Do it 10 times. Now I never was counting, so I don't know how long I was doing it, but you kind of just pull out those frowny lines and just stretch them out, stretch out your skin, just like that, just like that. So your face gets a little bit of a facelift every morning, like an instant facelift, mornings and evenings. So that is what I do. And these products, of course, I have it on my event link below in the description box. My event link is, I always have an event link open underneath my videos, because at the end of the month or the last week of the month, I always do a drawing, because whoever orders on that event link will be automatically put in a drawing. And so I do drawings, and I usually have 3 to 5 women who win. So that is it, guys. I love you, and I know that this video has been super kind of random, lots of different things, but I guess it was a day in the life, and you just get what you get when I show you a day in the life. So guys, I'm going to leave you here, and remember, trust God for everything and in everything. Trust Him that He's got you. Do not worry, do not fear. And when you have anxiety, call on Him because He's the answer. Go into the Bible and take out some promises that the Lord says He is with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So bless you guys. Love you all.